Hello, welcome back to Did It Work? My name's Nina, and today is our 50th episode, and I'm doing one of my all-time favorite recipes, and that is my chocolate bundt cake with a chocolate glaze. And this time, I'm going to try something new with it and add Crown Royal chocolate to it. This is a limited edition alcohol that they just came out with. I don't know when, and we're going to try to make it drunk and see if it's still just as delicious as it always is. My daughter is on FaceTime with me, cooking it with me, because this is one of her favorite recipes as well. Let's go ahead and get started, guys. The first thing we need to do is turn on the oven on 350. So I've got it preheating. Then I'm going to have my double broiler, which I created with a saucepan, some water in it, and just a bowl on top of it. Melt my butter. Now, I already somewhat melted it in the microwave, so I'm going to let this completely melt. So to this 2 sticks of butter, I'm going to put half a cup of baking cocoa in here. I'm going to whisk it until it is smooth. Okay, so I've got all the lumps out of here. Instead of putting 3/4 cup of water, this is half a cup of the Crown Royal chocolate alcohol. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of water, which will equal 3/4 cup. I'm gonna pour that in there and just stir it up. Now I'm gonna turn the heat off and we're going to start adding our remainder ingredients. You're going to see that this is such an easy recipe. You do not need a mixer at all. You can continue to use the whisk, or you can do what I did and get a spatula. I have 2 cups of sugar. Add 1 ingredient at a time and stir it in so that I have each ingredient combined before I start adding more ingredients to it. Okay. Now, as I told you, my oldest daughter, Lexi, is on the phone with me. This is like so great because I'm going to tell a story that we remember. Look, she's over here yelling, talking about she knew this was got to come. She knew this was got to come. Of course she knew this was got to come because already telling me it's partial lies, but I'm going to let you guys decide for yourself. Once I finally got this recipe perfected, I made it for Thanksgiving. All the kids were young, and this was a new addition to our Thanksgiving feast, okay? And so I made the cake, wanted everybody to taste it, and the parts that they were really able to taste was the part that I cut off the top of the cake. It was a hit. Everybody loved this cake. And so it got put on the dessert table. Here's 1 cup of sour cream. Yes, I said sour cream. This is what really makes this cake so moist. This cake has nothing dry about it at all, which is why this cake was such a hit. So back to the story. We have Thanksgiving dinner. Everybody eats, and we're all headed to the dessert table. Chocolate cake isn't to be found anywhere. Nobody knows where this chocolate cake went. This chocolate cake is gone. Oh, okay, she's already screaming over here. I don't know if my mic is picking her up, but she's already screaming. That's a lie. People had their piece. It is now just sitting at the dessert table. So maybe everybody got 1 piece. So I will concede to that part of the story that maybe everybody got 1 piece. But was the cake sitting on the dessert table? Well, technically it was. However, she buried the cake. You don't bury the cake just because you stick something on top of the lid of the cake. Doesn't mean you bury the cake. It wasn't just something was stuck on top of the cake. There was something stuck on top of the cake and then a towel that was put over that. No, and if there was a towel, the towel was covering the dessert that was on top of the cake. That is true because it was a pie sitting on top of the cake, and we always cover the pies with a kitchen towel so that it's not exposed to the elements. That's exactly what happened. It covered up the cake. Nobody found the cake when they started taking stuff home. People were asking about the chocolate cake. Where's the chocolate cake? I'm like, I don't know where the chocolate cake is. I don't know. Lexi's not saying anything. She's not saying it. Oh, look, she giggled. She didn't even try to say that part was a lie. So she's not saying anything. So nobody ended up taking any chocolate cake home. And I don't know if it was later on that night or if it was the next day that I found the chocolate cake. It was more than half gone. And come to find out, when I'm finally like, hey, Lexi, I found the chocolate cake, but someone's been eating it. Yeah, that's when she got her famous laugh going then too, because it was her. What do you mean? Why was the chocolate cake missing? It's been here the whole time. We were looking for the cake. No, she hid the cake so that nobody could eat the cake. The cake did get eaten. Don't get me wrong, but she thinks at this point I need to get my whisk so I can whisk out some of these lumps. She believes that I am now creating a bias by telling this story the way I did. You tell me in the comments. Think she hid the cake, or do you think I'm exaggerating this story? You put it in the comments. And I hope somebody that was there at that Thanksgiving remembers this and knows that they didn't get another piece of that cake until next Thanksgiving. That if you could hear this little laugh that she has going right here, it's that evil little Lexi laugh that she has. And for anybody that knows her, they know exactly what laugh that is. Exactly what laugh that is. All right. So this is pretty much good. There's a couple of little bitty lumps of sour cream in here, but I'm okay with that because I'm not done stirring. And by the time I'm completely done stirring, those will completely be gone. We're going to add the vanilla, and I'm going to slightly beat the eggs before I put them in here. And I'm going to temper the eggs as well before I put them in there, because what I don't want to do is have some scrambled eggs, guys. Now, this is not all that hot because remember, we did turn the fire out from under it, so it's no longer heating up anymore. Or container that my vanilla was in, and just get a little bit of chocolate in there. And then as I put it in here, I'm going to whisk it quickly and then just start pouring it in here so I can slowly bring the eggs up to temperature without scrambling them. You know what? I want to taste this real quick because I want to see what this chocolate tastes like with this alcohol in it before the alcohol's even burnt off, okay? This is gonna work! Oh my gosh! This is so good! Let's get the eggs in here. All right, keep stirring as you put it in here because, again, we don't want this stuff to scramble. You can have your whisk as well. Whisk is just harder for my hand than anything, and I don't have my brace on my wrist. Got all of that in there, and we've got to deal with our dry ingredients now. So right in here, I've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that, I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, and I'm just gonna mix this all together, make sure all these dry ingredients are combined. Now I'm gonna add my chocolate mixture, pour it all in there at once. I'm not doing dry, wet, dry, wet. If you want to pull out a hand mixer, you really can, but you don't have to. You would really kind of be doing yourself a disservice, quite honestly, because you're going to risk kind of over mixing it at that point in time. I did give this recipe to a friend of mine, and he did this for the very first time, and the recipe turned out really well. Good question, Lexi. It was not drunk. It was just the regular basic recipe. It's just water, no Crown Royal. I've got to get my whisk back again. Mix this up a little bit. I'm going to get the majority of the lumps out. Here is my Bundt pan. I always use a Bundt pan. I have actually never done this in anything but a Bundt pan because I like the Bundt pan cake, and it works really, really well for this recipe, especially the way we put a glaze on it and not a frosting. So I got my canola oil, and I'm just going to spray this, rub it to make sure it gets into all of the crevices. Instead of putting flour in the pan, I'm going to put cocoa mix. And the reason is cocoa mix is brown, just like the brown cake. Then normally I go over the trash can when I do this, but so that you guys can see, I just take it and I start rolling it. If you do this over the trash can, all this extra will go into the trash can. All right, so this is my cake pan that is all dusted with cocoa. I'm gonna come back over to my cake and give it another quick stir after it sat there for a little bit. And I'm gonna just pour it around the cone, obviously. I move the pan instead of the bowl that the mixture is in because the pan is a lot lighter and I'm not holding it up with one hand. Look, let's taste this since I stuck my thumb in it. This is going to be awesome. Yes, the alcohol, Lexi just asked me, won't this burn out all the alcohol as I'm baking it? Yes, pretty much the majority of this alcohol will bake out. So a kid could eat this after it bakes if you don't put any alcohol in the icing. I'm putting alcohol in the icing, so this is not a kid's cake. This, yes, guys, I'm still a kid at heart. This is wonderful. Mmm. That is yummy. That is so yummy. Let me clean my mouth up, guys. This is an adult cake, okay? I've got to just slam it a couple of times because I want the air bubbles to raise to the top, okay? And then we're going to put this in our preheated 350-degree oven. So now it is time for the dark chocolate glaze. Now, you do not have to use dark chocolate. Every time I say dark chocolate glaze, people are like, I don't like dark chocolate. I'm using semi-sweet chocolate. You can also use a bittersweet chocolate. This is 4 ounces, and I'm just going to take a knife, and I'm going to start at the corner and just rough chop it. And I'm just got to go through it like this, and then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to do it the other direction. And it's just got to make this melt faster. That's all. If Lexi was here doing this, she would have already have cut her finger off. Okay. It's not her evil laugh because she knows that I'm telling the truth. She just said it is true. Story time. She had to have been probably in junior high. Okay, so now we're back at the stove, and I'm going to finish this story, and we're going to make the glaze. So let's make the glaze first. So I'm combining 1/3 cup of heavy cream, but I have it just a little bit shy of 1/3 cup because I'm going to substitute some alcohol in there, okay? I have 1/4 cup of Crown Royal chocolate alcohol, so it's not a lot. And then the white cornstarch. See how easy that kind of fell out of there? That's because I sprayed with oil before I put the cornstarch in there, which allows it to just run off. And it'd be 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Everybody knows I love me some vanilla, so I'm going to just put a cap full up in there. And I'm going to stir this up. See that? Then I'm going to turn off the fire. And this is my chopped up chocolate. And I'm going to just pour it. I'm going to stir it and let this chocolate melt. And I'm going to just let it set here until this cake finishes. So to finish that story while I'm stirring, all of my kids learned how to cook. And so they all cooked with me on dinners so that they could learn how to cook. And so one of the knives was dull. And so I was telling her, well, here's a knife sharpener. I don't have the knife sharpener anymore, or I would show it to you. But you hold the knife sharpener. Do I have it? Hold on. Before I tell that lie, I have the knife sharpener, guys. I told her how to hold it. Put your fingers down, get the knife, take it through here, and pull it away from you. Pull it away from you. She did the complete opposite of that and sliced her finger. She just yelled, no, I didn't. But you can clearly see, she said, I beg to differ. No. If she did it the way I told you, there's no way she could have sliced her finger. She completely sliced her finger to the point that I had to call her dad. He's an RN, the dad that I don't really get along with. I had to call him, have him come over because I wasn't for sure if I had to take her to the emergency room or not. So no more knife sharpeners for her at all. My chocolate is completely melted. Okay, let's see how it is. I'm going to put a little bit more Crown in here. You cannot taste it at all. Not that I really want you to, but I think we can put some more in there, and I think the integrity of it will still hold up. So that is a cap full. When you start messing around with ingredients on stuff that you bake, you run the risk of completely ruining it because baking is kind of like chemistry. Everything has a purpose and measurements count. And so when you start changing them, you have the chance of just messing up the whole thing. But I think I'm not. I think I'm doing good. So I got this. It's a little looser, but that's okay. This is a glaze, not an icing. All right, let's taste this again. That's perfect. So I'm going to let this sit here until the cake is done. I have 21 more minutes, and I'll see you to ice it. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Okay, kind of looks good from the touch. Let's stick this in the middle. Pull it back out. That is done. So I left that in there for 40 minutes. Put that there. While this is still hot, I'm going to just poke some holes in this. All right, so I got some holes in there. And because I really want to make this drunk, I'm going to pour just a little bit of the alcohol directly on the warm cake so it absorbs. Again, I'm experimenting, guys. So cap full, and I'm going to just go around in a circle, which is why I poked the holes in there, and let that absorb into the cake. I'm going to do 2 capfuls. That's all I'm going to do. Since the cake is warm, it will just drink up that liquid. Just slowly pour it around, guys. And I'm going to tell you, if I mess up this recipe, because this is a foul-proof chocolate cake that has stood the test of time for quite a few years. My 2 capfuls. What I like to do is while my cake is still warm, I like to just take some icing and put it over it so that it will fall down into the cake. This would be even better if I would have cut off some of the top, but I didn't. Let it set for a good 10 minutes and then we will take it out of the pan. All right, since I don't have a cake pan, I'm gonna just get a plate. It's been about 10 minutes maybe. Okay, maybe 5 minutes, but still, I'm gonna flip it out. So I'm gonna just take the plate, put it over the pan, cool enough I can hold it, and then I'm gonna just flip it. One nice quick motion. And I'm gonna set it back down. I'm gonna pat it a little bit, try to get it to release itself. It's not releasing. Ah, it's stuck. Probably should have let the thing cool. All right, so I got the cake flipped out. Now, while it's still warm, I'm gonna put drizzle some icing over the top of this part as well. Poking holes again. I'm not gonna use a whole lot, and then I'm gonna wait until it cools to put the rest of it on so it stays on top. It's just a drizzle. You don't have to do this. This is just a part that I like to do. Next time you come back, I will finish icing this cake and take a bite.
My mic died again. Oh my goodness, me and these mics. So right now I am putting the glaze on there. The cake is actually cooled this time. And it's just going back and forth around there, making sure it goes over both of the sides. I have no rhyme or reason the way I do it. I just frost it or glaze it to glaze. I am not going to use all the glaze. I know when you make the chocolate and you look at it, you think, oh my gosh, there's not going to be enough chocolate. There's going to be plenty of chocolate. And for me, I put the remaining chocolate into the center of the cake. That way, when I am cutting the slices, if I do want some more icing, all I have to do is take my spoon into the center of the cake and I can pick up a little bit more of the chocolate and I can drizzle over any slice that I want.
Oh my goodness, I am so excited that I get to use or taste my homemade vanilla bean ice cream that I had made. I made a video about the Snickers ice cream that I made and ate, but this is the vanilla bean, and I have been saving it specifically for this chocolate cake. Okay, so let's start cutting this cake. I just realized I don't actually have an ice cream scoop. This is my cookie scooper. If you're asking how I ate my other ice cream, I cut it across so that you could see all the layers of the ice cream. Okay, so here we are. This is like not the tasting table because I've kind of given up on doing that, but we're going to have it right here. But I'm going to tell you, I do miss the tasting table because I miss having my Prince picture back there. And so eventually we're going to get back there. But right now, we're going to try this. Look at that picture. It looks so good. That cake looks so moist. Oh my goodness. Now let's just try the cake by itself. Oh, here we go. Oh my gosh, look at that. I just melted. Oh my gosh. Oh, yep, I just said it. This is so good. You can barely even taste the chocolate crown royal in there, but you know it's there. And the cake is so moist. It's not dry. And let's go for this ice cream and try it with the ice cream. Or just try the ice cream by itself first because I haven't tried it. Okay, here it is. The first time tasting this. Oh, heavenly. This is some of the best ice cream I've ever had. And if I would have known it was this easy to make, I would have been doing this, making ice cream a long time ago. So let's try them together and see how they work as a pair. Oh, look at the look on my face. Oh, yes, that was heavenly. This is the perfect pair, the perfect match. That ice cream and that cake, they pretty much come together and just melt in your mouth. You're not going to regret
making this. So try this recipe, let me know, and I will eventually make the video for the ice cream. So, as always, love with your heart, cook with your soul. My name is Nina.